Remembering Jeremiah Williams, how domestic violence took this young boy's life and what his family is calling on the community to do.
A local family files a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the Indiana Department of Child Services, what they claim the agency did wrong and the effect they say it had on their family.
And you can see rain to the southwest of Indiana. It seems close, but I'll tell you why it's so far away.
Thanks for joining us here on WRTV News at 6. I'm Mark Mullins, continuing to social distance at my home studio.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. First tonight, remembering a little boy who lost his life to domestic violence. Every year, church members in the community gather to remember Jeremiah Williams, who was shot and killed by his mother's ex-boyfriend. But because of COVID, the annual Domestic Violence Awareness Walk is taking on a different form. As WRTV's Stephanie Wade explains, the message is just as important, if not more, this year, as the pandemic forces people inside their homes who may be silently struggling.
With each step,
he was just an amazing child.
They remember.
He was more than a number. He was a person. He had a life. He had joy, excitement.
The Reverend Arthur Sample and his wife Barbara.
We got the opportunity to meet Jeremiah Williams. And in meeting Jeremiah Williams, we had the opportunity to have a sense of growing young again together.
They raised their great-nephew Jeremiah for 8 years.
Once he came into our life, it changed everything.
When he was just 6 months old, Jeremiah's mother asked the Samples to take him because they say she was in an abusive relationship. But in February of 2009, she called to say she was picking Jeremiah up and that he would live with her now. 5 months later, the third grader was shot and killed by his mother's ex-boyfriend when he opened fire on the house.
We know that even as I speak, someone in the world, and even in our city, is being abused even right now.
So every year, to remember his life, they hold a domestic violence awareness walk.
We want to bring awareness to the world to let them know that you don't have to settle for it. You don't have to settle for a situation. There are people that are concerned, that are willing to help. There are places that you can go for help.
But this year, because of COVID, to avoid large crowds gathering, they're doing something a little different. As the Samples walk to remember Jeremiah in their annual domestic violence walk, they encourage you to walk in your own neighborhood at home as well.
I want to reach 10,000 miles. That's our goal.
Reaching people they've never reached before.
It's happening in your family. It's happening in families down the street.
To put the ownership on the community to demand better for kids like Jeremiah.
As you're walking, think that you can do to help us to make things different, to make a change.
Together as a community.
Every step counts. We're just inviting everyone to take part.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
The walk will be happening this Saturday. People can register at 3mbc.org and just walk in their own neighborhoods. The goal is to reach 10,000 miles collectively to provide resources for people affected by domestic violence. If you are a victim of domestic violence or know someone who is, you can get help. First, take a picture of this screen. One resource is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is 1-800-799-SAFE. Again, that is 1-800-799-SAFE. If you are unable to speak safely, you can log on to thehotline.org or text LOVE-IS to 1-866-331-9474. And if it is an emergency, you can always call 911. We're going to leave this up for a couple more seconds. Again, take a picture of this screen if you can. Just know you are not alone and help is there if you need it. And these are just a few of the ways to go about getting that help.
It is a devastating number for the United States. More than 200,000 people nationwide have now died with COVID-19. That's according to Johns Hopkins University, which tracks the numbers from every state. Health experts believe the number of those who have died with the virus is actually higher than that. They say in part because many COVID-19 deaths, especially early on in March and April, were likely attributed to other causes. Here in Indiana, the State Department of Health says 3,295 Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus since March. Today, the state reports an additional 9 deaths. The Department of Health also confirmed 652 additional COVID-19 cases in Indiana. So far, more than 112,000 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with coronavirus. Data from the Department of Health shows about 45% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. 82% of the ventilators in our state are also available as well.
Let's talk about some of our headlines as we move from this Tuesday through the rest of the week toward the weekend. We're looking for rain, and we're probably not going to find it until Saturday night and Sunday. We'll have more details on that in the main weather. Gradually warmer temperatures. That includes these overnight lows, which had been in the 40s the last 3-4 mornings. They'll be in the 50s here for the next few days, and then we'll get that change in a pattern next week. Temperatures pretty consistent. They've been consistent for a while, all in the 70s, 78 in Lafayette. Their closest rain sits in southwest Kentucky, down toward Memphis and Little Rock, Arkansas. That will stay to the southwest. The remnants then of the tropical storm will move northeast, but into around Nashville area, central Tennessee, staying south of central Indiana, which leaves us then with dry conditions until maybe the weekend. Cooler temperatures return next week. We'll talk about that coming up.
New developments tonight. A special prosecutor and judge have been assigned to the 4th of July battery case at Lake Monroe. The attorneys for the 2 men facing charges for criminal confinement, battery resulting in moderate bodily injury, and intimidation are requesting the case be tried in another county. Sean Purdy and Jerry Cox were charged with assaulting Vox Booker. Booker says someone threatened to, quote, get a noose during the incident. The defendants claim Booker and his friends were trespassing. At this point, no decision has been made to change the venue request in this case.
A family is calling for change in how the Indiana Department of Child Services operates. The couple filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the department, accusing the agency of tearing apart the family, then dropping the claims. WRTV's Troy Washington spoke with the parents who want their story to make a difference in how things are done moving forward.
It's not just our family. It's countless of other families.
In October 2018, that's when Adam and Laura Huff say the nightmare began.
Every time a doorbell rings and we're not expecting company, we're like,
According to the couple, a family member falsely accused Adam Huff of sexually abusing their teenage daughter.
So we have people that are weaponizing DCS because they have a grudge against us, and there's no way to stop it from being weaponized.
Though they were upset about the allegations, it's how things were handled that has led them to file a lawsuit seeking $3 million in damages.
I've cried every day for 2 years.
According to the Huffs, Indiana DCS allowed the minor to be interviewed without a parent present when it came to investigating the incident. They removed the 2 children from their home, a son who was 8 at the time and their daughter who had just turned 13.
As a mother, I'm infuriated that someone had the nerve to do this to my children, especially my daughter, and to take their innocence away from them. Because that's who took their innocence, was DCS.
The children spent 2 weeks at the Children's Bureau before being placed with a family friend. This mother believes her ability to take care of her children was brought into question because she has a disability.
Discrimination, however you want to cut it, slice it, dice it, that's discrimination.
So they go to court and say, hey, judge, we have to take these kids now. And then at the end say, never mind, we're dropping it, after holding our kids hostage for 4 months. I mean, they contradict themselves, and it's just, so they put us all through that just in the end say, never mind.
The family says they can't get back the holidays they missed, but they are hoping to help someone else.
When this is all said and done, with every breath of our being, we're going to fight to see that this actually gets reformed somehow, some way, so children are truly being protected.
Working for UN Fishers, Troy Washington, WRTV.
We asked DCS to respond to the allegations mentioned in the lawsuit. A spokesperson tells us, quote, state and federal confidentiality laws prohibit DCS from disclosing information, including if a child is in DCS's care. The agency investigates allegations of child abuse and neglect and makes recommendations to the court based on the evidence at hand. DCS is charged with ensuring the safety of Indiana children, whether that is by providing services, support, and resources to maintain the family, or by removing a child from a home due to abuse or neglect, end quote. Democracy 2020, a candidate for president of the United States will make a campaign stop in Westfield this weekend. Libertarian candidate Joe Jorgensen will speak at Grand Park Sports Complex on Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. The Libertarian candidate for governor in Indiana, Donald Rainwater, is also expected to be there.
Today is National Voter Registration Day. It's a big push to get as many people registered to vote as possible for the November general election. And that's coming up on November 3rd. Of course, the presidential race hangs in the balance. So does the race for governor in Indiana. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker is live near Fountain Square at an event happening right now to get people signed up to vote. Cornelius.
Yeah, Amanda, as you can probably hear, this event has already started. It's being put on by this group called Go Vote Indy. And if you haven't heard of them, that's okay. They actually just started this summer, and their big focus is on registering people, which, if you look behind me, they're doing that right now at those tables. And along with registering, after they do that, they want to educate the voters, and then they're also offering transportation on Election Day. So right now, big event, music is going on, more people are coming in right now, and they really just want to get as many people as registered as possible before the deadline of October 5th. If you come out, it's in Fountain Square, like you said, Amanda, at the Hi-Fi Annex, 1044 Patrick Street. Venue is in the back alley by the church if you're familiar with the area. If not, just put it in your GPS. But again, this event is being put on by Go Vote Indy. It's underway, as you can probably hear. There's bands playing. It lasts until 10 o'clock. And while you're here, once you're registered, if you need a way to get to the polls, you can tell them that, and they will arrange something for you. Their big thing is making sure everyone can vote in this upcoming election. For now, I'm gonna have to send it back to you. Getting kind of loud out here, but again, it ends at 10 o'clock. Amanda?
I'll take it from here, Cornelius. Thank you for that. And that event underway right now, as you heard Cornelius mention. The general election is coming up on November 3rd, but there are a lot of important deadlines that you need to know about just so you can vote. The voter registration deadline is October 5th. Early voting begins on October 6th. We have all of this plus everything you need to know about absentee mail-in ballots up right now on WRTV.com/votein2020. Check that out now so you're prepared to cast your ballot for this election.
Our Hiring Hoosiers team is finding new jobs available even during the pandemic. We are showing you some of them in the job feed. Radio plans to hire more than 2,500 entry-level fulfillment center workers for the holiday season at its facility in Brownsburg. You can learn more about these jobs and apply when you click on this story on hiringhoosiers.com. RCI in Carmel is looking for a sales and customer service representative. You would be paid to help others plan their vacation. Amerisource Virgin Drug Corporation in Whitestown needs warehouse associates who would work either nights or days. Pay is between $15 and $17 an hour, and there is a $500 bonus, sign-on bonus. First Call Staffing is partnering with the Ulta Beauty Distribution Center in Greenwood for a hiring event. They are looking for seasonal material handlers. The job fair is happening this Thursday, September 24th, from 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. You must wear a mask. Learn more about these positions on the job board at hiringhoosiers.com.
A hotel in Speedway that sat unfinished for more than a year. People in the community wanting answers as to why work is stopped. We've been following this story from the beginning, and there are new developments to report tonight.
As you know, temperatures are comfortable right now in the 70s. Next week, we'll see a reversal of those temperatures. We'll talk about that coming up.
Welcome back. New details to a story we've been following for more than a year. We're finding out construction is expected to pick back up on a hotel project in Speedway. The Wilshaw Hotel will sit right on the corner of 16th and Main Street and was supposed to be completed by now. WRTV's Megan Singh-Torm has been working to get answers about the work stoppage and has an update on the progress being made.
This half-built hotel sits right across the street from IMS. And for the past year or so, it's looked like this. But now town leaders are announcing a new partnership agreement and a potential start date for construction. When you look at this prominent corner in Speedway, not much has changed from this time last year.
It's kind of an eyesore right now, just kind of empty and not sure quite what's going on with it.
For more than 400 days, people who live and work in Speedway wondered when or if construction would resume.
We were, of course, excited to have that going, and then it just kind of hit the brakes and it stopped.
Chris Hill is the owner of Dawson's on Main.
Everything looks so good up and down Main Street, and then you get to the end where you can see they've done so much work at the track, and you see that, and it just kind of gives you a bad feeling.
We told you when construction came to an abrupt halt last summer. Town leaders say the developer, Loftus Robinson, experienced financing issues. The developer missed town deadlines for work stoppages and was unable to provide updated timelines. But now a new partnership between Loftus Robinson and Indianapolis-based MHG Hotels will get the project moving again.
We've been looking forward to it for a couple of years now, and so just to get the news this morning, we're very excited.
Town leaders say they are optimistic about this partnership, and they anticipate construction to begin in the spring.
We still have some work to do on our contract as well with them, but it's nice to have a partner that will communicate and jump on things, and we're excited that got done.
Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And developer Loftus Robinson released a statement today saying they are excited to have MHG Hotels added as a co-developer and partner for this project. They said they are committed to seeing this 127-room hotel project through to completion. MHG will manage the finished Hilton Tapestry Hotel, also called the Wilshire Hotel.
Today, the United States passed 200,000 COVID-19 deaths, as we reported earlier in the show. And now the Centers for Disease Control is reversing guidance on how the coronavirus spreads indoors. ABC's Ramina Puga has what you need to know right now.
Tuesday, the U.S. hit that horrific milestone of 200,000 confirmed COVID-19 deaths. The American Hospital, Medical and Nurses Associations released a joint statement saying, by scale and raw numbers, COVID-19 has had a devastating impact on our country, affecting Americans at a rate that represents a nearly worst-case scenario.
There's a big crowd.
But overnight, the president once again downplaying the virus's deadly nature, claiming, despite evidence to the contrary, that COVID only impacts the elderly or people with pre-existing conditions.
It affects virtually nobody.
Meantime, CDC confusion as the agency walks back new guidelines it published Friday, then redacted on Monday. The guidelines, aligned with what many health experts have been saying for months, suggested the virus is airborne and can transmit in places with poor ventilation, like some restaurants and gyms.
I apologize on behalf of CDC for that. We weren't ready to put it up.
The American people rely on the CDC for clear guidance, including how the virus is transmitted. And this flip-flopping, which clearly is about political interference in the scientific process, I think makes it much harder for Americans to know what the right things are.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi defended the CDC, which is often contradicted by the administration.
Great scientists there demoralized by the political overturning of recommendations to save lives.
This as the World Health Organization reports the worst one-week period of worldwide COVID infections with 2 million people as we prepare for the colder weather to come.
In addition to COVID, we'll be seeing flu and other respiratory viruses. And as we go indoors and viruses do better in the winter, we may see some of the restrictions needing to be rolled out again.
The United Kingdom is reinstating restrictions after a resurgence in COVID cases, including fines for people who break self-isolation. In Los Angeles, Romina Puga, ABC News.
Just about 6:20 on this Tuesday evening. Rainfall minimal over the last 35 days, and it looks like over the next 7 days. Not a lot either, but we've got a chance for some rain. Just because we've changed seasons here doesn't mean we've changed the overall pattern as far as bringing in rain on a more consistent basis. I jumped to the weekend because that's our next best chance for some rain. Saturday night and through the first part of Sunday, you can see temperatures there above average, above the 76-degree average. We're dry almost all of Saturday. As we go through the day, you'll begin to see the impact of the cold front. There are some showers, isolated thunderstorms lining up along the cold front late Saturday night. As that drops southeast, though, notice how thin the line is. Not a solid area of rain, so we may not all get showers from that. Have another opportunity. Notice how it's coming from the northwest Sunday into Monday as well, some shower chances. That's also a recognition of the cooler flow of air into the Hoosier State. 75 in Indy right now, 78 in Lafayette. Bloomington, 4 degrees cooler than that. Temperatures overnight, because of the clouds that we have now, will be warmer. They'll stay in the low 50s, breaking our string of days in the 40s. Tomorrow, the milky white on the screen there represents the clouds, mid and high level clouds that'll be around. Temperatures with the hazy sunshine right around 80 degrees. Thursday plan on more clouds, especially southern Indiana. A shower can't be ruled out in the southern portion of the state. Temperatures wherever you're at from north to south will be in the upper 70s. 7-day forecast, all eyes then on our rain opportunities, especially Saturday night and Sunday. Temperatures go into the 60s Tuesday. It looks like much of the rest of next week well below average temperatures are expected with a few showers at times. Mark?
All right, Kevin, thank you. WRTV Investigates has been following controversy within the Northwest HENDRICKS School Corporation for more than a year. School leaders have faced criticism for how they handled sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student. 3 candidates are challenging 2 incumbents for 2 open school board seats in Northwest HENDRICKS. The challengers are David Pyatt, Abby Morgan, and Joe Brooks. The incumbents, Jim D'Agostino and Craig Peebles, have been criticized for removing public comment from board meetings and not taking swifter action involving misconduct involving Tri-West employees. All 3 challengers say they want to make changes and improve transparency and communication between the board and the community. WRTV will be talking to all 3 challengers, Abby Morgan, Joe Brooks, and Dave Pyatt, live on the WRTV Facebook page tomorrow at 5 p.m. Make sure to join us for this school board candidate forum with Northwest HENDRICKS Schools. We'll be right back.
Should be some good-looking sunsets on this dry, comfortable Tuesday evening. Thanks for watching our WRTV. We'll see you back at 7.